Hi everyone, Chris Natzke here with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching with your Mind of a Champion tip of the week. You know, as an athlete all my life, I've realized that there's a real power in visualization. And I can tell you that there are many times when I was competing, particularly in martial arts, where visualizing myself on the medal stand was this exhilarating experience and really brought forth this great feelings and emotion inside of me. But what I realized over time is that was not the most productive thing for me to visualize and to focus on. In fact, it wasn't about visualizing or focusing on the end result that was getting me the results I wanted. It was literally focusing on the steps or the process to get me to that point that paid the biggest of dividends. It reminds me of a story that I heard from a book called With Winning in Mind by Olympic gold medalist Lanny Basham. And what Basham had done is he'd become an athletic performance coach, and he was working with a person who was a new golfer to the PGA Tour named Ben Crane. Now, Crane was a talented young golfer, and he had come close several times to winning on the tour, but he always seemed to fall short. And so when they decided to work together, what they did as a team is they said, rather than focusing on winning the tournament, rather than focusing on the end result, what they decided to do was to focus on the process. Because if they knew that if they focused on performing well on each and every hole, that was going to lead to higher or lower scores on the golf course that would lead to wins. And so it's now the third tournament of the year, and Crane is competing on Torrey Pines Golf Course in Southern California. And he's now on the 18th hole, and all he has to do to win this major championship is sink a 30-foot putt. But the fact of the matter is, he had no idea he was going for the win. But he lined it up the shot the way he knew he was supposed to, the way he had practiced both physically and mentally time and time again. He kind of brought it back, he hit the ball, and boom, 30-foot putt, he drops it. Now the crowd goes nuts, and his playing partner comes up and shakes his hand, and Crane thinks it's just because it's the customary, hey, great, customary way of finishing the hole. But he doesn't know that he's won the tournament until his wife jumps into his arms, and he looks at her and he says, "Did I just win?" In that case, he was not focused on the win. He was focused on the process. Process was primary. So how does that impact us, and how can we use that lesson in our own lives? Because whether it's in athletics, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in business, when we focus on the process, that's where we can get the end result that we want. So I've got 4 keys that I want to share with you that I use in my own life and I also help my coaching clients with, that I call the champion's process for creation. And it basically goes like this. Number 1 is setting a clear intention. Now, that's probably the first step in anything that we want to create. We're setting that intention, but again, we don't get fixated on it. So if we want to win, say, a taekwondo tournament, I'm fixed, or I have an intention, but it's not where I fixate my process. It's my end result. I set the intention for where I want to go, but now I'm going to be flexible in terms of what I focus on. But the number 1 is to set the intention. Number 2 is to visualize your actions. So when I was competing in the martial arts back in the late 90s on a national level, I not only was focused on my end result, but I was focused on my training plans and what was going to get me there. And I would literally visualize my workouts the day before I was going to have them. I was focused on the process of what it was going to take to get me there. Now, did I always have the best workouts and did I always want to show up and do it? No, but that mental primer, that focusing on the process is what got me there step by step by step. Number 3 is, as we talked before, is to focus on the process because that's primary. What are the things that will take to get you there? What are the things that you do day in and day out to get you toward your goal? You know, we have a saying, I think we say it in martial arts, but it's also in all types of aspects within our lives, is that consistent action taken over time leads to massive results. So when you're focusing on that process, the steps that are going to get you there day in and day out, and have not only the vision, but the discipline to hold you to that and continue there, that's where magic happens. Because you never know when that tipping point is going to happen. It's kind of like you're putting that weight on, you're putting that weight on the scale, you're putting on based on the process, and pretty soon it moves into your favor. Process is primary. And then finally, number 4 is to let go of the outcome. You know, sometimes for me, that's been the hardest thing to do, because I can, and I know many of you can, get so focused on what we want. But if we know that we've put in all of our attention, the way that we need to show up physically, mentally, emotionally toward our goal, and we lay it all out, now it's time to let go of the outcome. And what I found is when I do that, life's more enjoyable, and I even get better results generally than when I'm trying to hold on to something super tight. So there are your 4 steps, my friends. Set that intention, visualize your actions, focus on the process, and then let go of the outcome. Now, I failed to say, but when Crane hit that putt, it was for $954,000. That's what he won by sinking that single putt. Now, this week, I want to challenge you. Where is something that you want to have happen in your life? It may not be that you're going to be able to sink a putt for almost $1 million, but it might be just what it takes for you to go to that next level that you've always been striving for. So process is primary. Hey, give it a shot this week. I'd really love to hear what your comments are on this concept, and also what your results are. And as always, if you enjoyed this, please like it. Please share. Please comment. And I will see you next time on the Mind of a Champion Tip of the Week.